5 current inactive WWE superstars who could return at this year's Royal Rumble match. Hi, welcome to SCW here on YouTube.com. Thank you for choosing the channel and choosing the video. Please subscribe right now. Leave in the comments in the comment section. Please like and share the video as well. The Royal Rumble is just around the corner. Of course, we've got some current inactive WWE superstars who could return at this year's Royal Rumble match. I've got 5 for you that I'm going to go through here today. I'd like to know who you think will return at this year's Royal Rumble. We're going to start off with one that's inactive, The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. Now, of course, this is storyline rather than injury, but of course, with Randy Orton being in the Royal Rumble match, I wouldn't be surprised if we got an appearance from The Fiend in this year's match. Now, of course, the last time we see him, he was burnt alive, literally, in the Firefly Inferno match at TLC. We've not seen him since, and WWE have actually done a great job keeping him off TV. Perhaps we could get a new, reinvigorated, darker version, if that's possible, of The Fiend at the Royal Rumble. And that certainly would be a big shock and a big surprise if he was to return in this year's match. Second on the list, I've got to go with Edge. Now, of course, I spoke about people with problems with Randy Orton. Edge certainly is one of them. And of course, he's not been around since the greatest wrestling match back at Backlash. Of course, that match was against Randy Orton. It's expected that when Edge does return, that he will be taking on Randy Orton at this year's WrestleMania, potentially in an I Quit match. And of course, he returned at last year's Royal Rumble, so why be he could return at this year's. It certainly would be different returning this year's compared to last year in front of 40,000 fans. I mean, this year it would be in the Thunderdome, but of course Edge probably is eager to perform in front of the Thunderdome. Perhaps that would be something that's really on his bucket list. He's probably very keen and eager to return to WWE right now. But of course, as I say, Edge, he's not just returned at last year, he's returned in Royal Rumbles previously. In 2010, he was the surprise entrant and winner that year as well. So Edge is no stranger to this. It certainly wouldn't surprise me if Edge was to make a hat-trick of Royal Rumble surprise returns this year. Next is the monster among men, Braun Strowman. Now, of course, Braun Strowman has been out with injury, and of course, he was written off TV after attacking Adam Pearce the night after Survivor Series. He was rumoured to be in a championship match at TLC with Drew McIntyre. Perhaps maybe we might get that championship match going forward because, you know, Braun Strowman returning at the Royal Rumble, he would be a heavy favourite. Of course, he'd be throwing everyone over the top rope. He has won a Royal Rumble before, of course, the greatest Royal Rumble. Some will say that that doesn't count, of course, but it did certainly happen. Braun Strowman would be a favourite if he was to return in this year's Royal Rumble. Certainly, of course, he was involved in a championship match at last year's WrestleMania as well, so it wouldn't surprise me if he was involved in one this year. So definitely one to keep an eye out for. If Braun Strowman is ready to return, I certainly wouldn't be surprised to see him return in this year's Royal Rumble match. Next will be Seth Rollins, the Messiah. Now, of course, Seth Rollins has been off TV since the Survivor Series. Of course, he's had a well-deserved break. Of course, he's been put in many years of great service, but he's recently become a father, of course, with Becky Lynch, and their child was actually brought to the world in December. So Seth Rollins has been enjoying some time off. I'm sure that Seth Rollins will want to come back in for WrestleMania season. It's probably a big angle, a big match planned, and certainly what is a great way to reintroduce yourself than to come in the Royal Rumble. And certainly, Seth Rollins, it wouldn't be a surprise if he was to come in and win the Royal Rumble. He did win the 2019 Royal Rumble. Certainly wouldn't surprise me if he did it once again. And of course, we mentioned Braun Strowman in the last one. He actually eliminated Braun Strowman to win that Royal Rumble. So it would be funny if them two both returned and were the final two. I wouldn't be surprised to see it happen. I certainly think that this one could be a likely one, actually, that Seth Rollins could return in the Royal Rumble match this year. Last but not least, certainly been absent off TV since the draft and effectively wasn't really given a show, but we know he's meant to be on Monday Night Raw. I'm talking about Andrade. Andrade's been out with injury since October. Certainly, he could be someone that could be a low-key return in the Royal Rumble match. It would be good to see him back. He's one of the best performers in the world. Certainly is not given as good enough push as he should be in WWE. Certainly has got a lot to bring to the table. But Andrade, for me, is a great performer. I'd like to see him come back. And if he wants to be brought back to TV, the great place to do it, for me, is the Royal Rumble match. I'd like to see him in there, certainly eliminate a few people. He was a nice surprise entrant a couple of years ago, in fact, when he was NXT champion. I believe that was back in 2018, and he lasted over half an hour. If that was to happen this year, would he last that long in this year's Royal Rumble match? Well, that's 5 current inactive WWE superstars who I think could return at this year's Royal Rumble. Have you got any in mind? Let me know in the comments below. I look forward to interacting with you. Hope you guys have yourselves a great day. Remember to check out other videos, including I've got 10 potential surprise entrants in the Royal Rumble for this year as well, featuring both the men's and the women's match. Go and check that video out now if you haven't already. More videos will be coming out on the channel this week for WWE and Impact Wrestling as well. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell and set the notifications to all. Have yourselves a great day and thank you for watching. You've been here on SCW here on YouTube.com. Take care. All the best.